Good morning. How are you doing? We are on the home stretch of Sneak Peek Week. I have a bonus tutorial to share with you today. And yes, it's going to be an ornament. Y'all know ornaments have my heart. And when we do a bonus, a lot of times it will either be an extra template or it would be an extra technique or maybe the SVG file for a stencil cut file. But with this, we are going to do we're going to freestyle a little bit. I love freestyling. It gives me a little bit of creative freedom without having to sit at my iPad and just kind of like dream it up. It gives me this hands-on daydream kind of feel. It's one of my favorite ways to create design sometimes. Sometimes I can look at my iPad and it would be very, very hard for me to just like really think of anything. But sometimes I can just take a basic shape. Y'all know me, I love my basic shapes. And then just kind of play around with it till I get it the way I want it. So if you're joining us today, I want you to say, hey, how you doing? Good morning. Tell me where you're watching from. If you're catching the replay, I want you to put hashtag replay. And today we're gonna be making ornaments. And ornaments tend to be, I do them like mixed media projects. So they don't just involve paint. So you're getting a really fun a little bonus here today. These are my beads and my flowers. We're going to play around with those a little bit as well. But why don't we just go ahead and start base coating? Something fun I have going on today that's a little extra is that I have, and y'all know I love to batch create. Yesterday we talked a lot about batch creating the garland pieces because yesterday was our garland tutorial. I'm going to make 3 ornaments all at the same time. And you're going to see how fast they come together. In the same time that I can do 1, I can do 3, okay? Because I'm doing the same steps over and over again, okay? But I do have an extra one. I'm going to be, as I'm building this, because I don't know what's going with it yet, but we're going to do some mixed media with it. I'm going to be building a kit that I'm going to be gifting to someone who's hanging out with us today. So if you want to be entered into the giveaway, all you have to do is spread the good word. Facebook doesn't like a particular word, but they named the button the word. So it's really hard for me to say, go hit that button that spreads it out into the interwebs and lets people know that we're doing something really fun and crafty today. So for everyone who spreads the good word, sprinkles the love, as some say, that we are live today and doing something extra fun, will be entered into a giveaway for an entire kit. This will include everything except paint and brushes. It'll include the blank. If we end up using flowers, it'll include a set of the flowers. If it involves beads, I will make sure to put beads in the kit. It'll include all the extra pieces to create your own. So as we get started, let's go ahead and base coat. We're going to be messing with some yellow, so let's go ahead and base coat everything solid white. Hey, Dot. Hey, Ellen. How are you doing this morning? Hey, Millie. It's dreary here. And if you know me, you know I love that. I love nice rainy days. It's not like a stormy day. It's just a dreary, wet, off and on kind of drizzly day, and I love it. In fact, the sun just peeked out for the first time today. It's been off and on raining all morning, which has just been the perfect, it has set the perfect mood. I'm going to get a little closer to my project here. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to add a little bit more white to my palette. There's a lot of water in my brush, so this white is really going on real smooth, but it's going on kind of thin. So I don't know if I'm going to invest time and effort into a second coat of white. I think we're going to just let it be and jump into our actual base coat color. So in my brain, this is what I have kind of drumming up in my brain as I was looking at this very bare, very blank basic shape, right? I was thinking a jar of like honey, because we want to stick with our bumblebee theme. I like a jar of honey. I did pull this stencil. I started pulling some stuff that I had in my stash I had this Tim Holtz stencil and stamp set that I haven't used yet, but I'm really liking this distressed honeycomb. I also have another honeycomb stencil, but I think the honeycomb is going to be way too big No. I think it's real close. I also have this really clean honeycomb. So this one is distressed. You know, Tim Holtz, he loves to like chippy all the things. So these are not perfect honeycomb lines. They're kind of distressed. And then this one has perfect honeycomb lines. So we will probably take a vote on which one we'll use, but we're not there yet. I also pulled these flowers. These are Prima. I get these at Hobby Lobby. But I also have these flowers. These are the Recollection ones. I think the Recollection. No, these are Paper Studio. These came from Hobby Lobby as well. Anytime I see really cute paper flowers in the scrapbooking and card making section, I tend to pick them up because they make really cool 3D elements without me having to do any extra work. Okay, so now it's not quite dry yet, but we're going to blow dry and we're going to base coat these probably, let's go with Sunny Day since that's the yellow we've been using all week. Oh, thank you, Gina, for spreading the love. And Debbie and Anna, y'all are the best. Absolute best friends a girl could ask for. You're live and I'm here. Jerry, where have you been all week? Oh, goodness gracious. Mercy me. Okay. Like I said, for anyone who spreads the love, being that SHRE button, I will be entering you into a gift away for an entire kit. This will be the blank, any extras like flowers or beads. If we end up using twine, it'll have twine. If we end up using fabric, I'll make sure to include some fabric. It'll be a complete kit to be able to match what I'm making here today, minus paint and brushes, and obviously just like, our general painting supplies. All right, so I have Sunny Day, and I'm just base coating this on here. I'm gonna let it dry because this big 2-inch base coat brush can hold a lot of water. And so I want to make sure I have a nice, clean coat before I move on to the next one. Because remember, we can't make pretty things without setting ourselves up for success by doing a firm foundation, okay? A nice, good effort, firm foundation. And that's taking time to do a proper base coat, taking our time to do a good job at color blocking. That's just kind of getting your colors where they need so you can go and add extra textures. We didn't do a lot of color blocking this week. We did a lot of stenciling. That was our main focus. That was the technique that we were working on, because in the paint studio, we focus on a technique each month, but the way we do it is we practice it on different projects. And so the technique that we were working on this week with Sneak Peek Week was stenciling. Let's see, let's get our blow dryer out. Someone gave me some small jars. Oh, wait. Was that me? Am I someone? Or do you just like randomly have a stash of small mason jars? I've worked 46 hours. Jerry, you should be sleeping. Go take a nap. Good morning, Anna Lynn. Okay. I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee real quick. Kind of feel a coughing fit coming on. Y'all know me. I just have this random cough that I never got over. I feel like it's going to be with me for life. That's okay. Okay. So second coat of this Sunny Day. Like I said, we can paint about 3 in the same time, maybe a little bit more, but not much more, and about the same time. Let's put that little wiggle room in there, and about the same time that we would have been able to just paint one. So if you need to paint more than one, don't make it harder on yourself by painting one completely and then moving on to the next one. And then just do it step by step. Do all the steps together. And then instead of blow drying, just set the other ones off to dry on their own, and then blow dry when you need to. Like when you're completely done and you're moving on to the next step. See, if I was doing about 6 of them, I would probably have enough time, or I wouldn't have to blow dry as much. I'm so confused. I thought the garland was hearts. Okay, no, Deidre, this is a bonus tutorial. This is an ornament. So yes, after I get done blow drying, I'll show you the hearts. Hearts was yesterday. We did on Wednesday, we did the beehive door hanger. On Thursday, we did the bumblebee teddy bear. We called her our queen bee, our patchwork queen bee, attachment size. I'm kind of using her as a shelf sitter right now. And then yesterday, hold on, the ornaments are traveling. Yesterday, I need 2 hands for my garland, but we got our garland back here. And we did hearts. Okay. And today I'm hopping on to do a coordinating ornament. I'm trying to show you that it's not hard to just drum up something to be extra. So here's our garland that we made. So there's the green, the yellow, and the blue parts. That one's kind of hard to show on camera, like in its entirety, just because it's so long. Oh, I missed the hearts. Dang it. Well, you know the replay is always there. You know it is. Okay. Oh, I can hear my wind chimes. It's one of my favorite sounds in the world. Okay. So now that we have this base coated, we can start really designing. Okay. Remember, I don't have a template that I'm following right now, but this may end up becoming a template. Who knows? If this ends up being super cute, this may be this may end up being a template for a template tribe next month. Okay. So we've got our base coat of the sunny day. I think what I want to do next is I want to do some stenciling. Okay. So I showed you 2 stencils earlier. We've got the Tim Holtz that is kind of, let me take it out of the package. I just picked this up at Hobby Lobby. I always go over to the card making section and the scrapbook section. I like to shop the whole store for supplies whenever, especially for ornaments, because ornaments, like I said, I kind of treat an ornament like a mixed media project. Oh, so, Tim he kind of has a splatter paint stencil up there. But I want you to see how it's kind of not perfect. His designs tend to have a little bit of a kind of a beat up, distressed feel. I love it. I love that look. And when I work with paper, whenever I do like a card or a scrapbook project, I always tended to kind of venture towards the more distressed look than perfect. Okay, this is more of your perfect. This is another show off. Y'all know I love the show off stencils. This is another show off. They're about the same size. I think the Tim Holtz hexagon is about just a smidge smaller. Let me see. Yeah, it's just a smidge smaller. So this is a perfect honeycomb, and this is a distress. So which one should we use? Should we use the distressed one, or should we use the perfect one? I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to get my makeup sponge and talk about my makeup sponge real quick while we vote. So y'all put it down in the comments. Should we use the perfect honeycomb, or should we use the distressed one? So my makeup sponges I have here, I get from one of 2 places. I get either from Dollar General, not to be confused with Dollar Tree. Let's remember, Dollar Tree's makeup sponges are not stencil worthy. Okay, they have a use. I'm sure, I have yet to find it. They have a use, but it is not for stenciling. They get super messy. They're too porous. The pores in them are too airy. It almost looks like bubbles you can visually see. These feel more like memory foam. And this is the one that we've been working with this entire week. Every project has been used. We've been using this one sponge. I want you to see how many times we have trimmed this sponge. Okay. So I kind of like these because they're bigger than the Dollar General ones. I do like Dollar General ones, but they're hard to find sometimes because they don't carry many in stock. But if you can't find them at Dollar General or Family Dollar, either one, I get mine. I swung into Ulta Beauty for something else. And I was like, you know what? Let me go look at their makeup sponges. Let me see if I can find a dupe over there. And yes, we have been using an Ulta Beauty makeup sponge. I like them. I would almost say I like them more than the Dollar General ones. And let me tell you what, they're bigger. They are bigger. They are even spongier, which means that they're not gonna get as much bleeding because of the air holes. They're not gonna bubble up because of the air holes. They are perfect. So I think from here on out, I am going to continue on with the Ulta Beauty ones. It took me a second. I'm sorry. Oh, it's almost unanimous. It's distressed. Everybody's saying let's do the distressed one. So we're going to use our Tim Holtz one. And I'm not going to do the entire bottom. I want it to be kind of peeking from the edge. So I'm just going to kind of put my stencil. I'm going to put my stencil on. Okay. I'm going to kind of line up my stencil as best as I can so that they're straight. But I'm not going to worry myself about it being perfect. I'm going to take my Antique Gold and we're going to sponge with Antique Gold. Okay. So all I did was I dipped my sponge in the Antique Gold. This will probably be the last time that I use this sponge though, because there's not much more room for me to hold on to. And that's really going to be the thing that determines whether or not you can use it anymore. Can you hold it? I'm getting to a point I can't hold it anymore after this one. So I'm going to just do a little bit. I'm going to fussy paint my honeycomb. Kind of at a random angle. Probably go all the way to this top one. I think I want that one too. And that's what it's going to look like. I just want a little peekaboo of honeycomb. And I've sponged very lightly with the Antique Gold. Okay, we're going to just rinse and repeat. And when I say rinse, I don't really mean rinse. I just mean we're going to do that again. So let's just place our stencil. This is where things are going to look real handmade because it's going to be impossible for you to get this stencil perfectly placed in the exact same place every single time you go to stencil this on the same shape, right? So we're just going to eyeball it the best that we can. And I'm going to stick to the same little honeycomb. It's raining. So now Romo's all of a sudden very interested in going outside. And I'm very interested in not letting him go outside right now. I could care less about letting him outside just so he can go get wet and yucky and smell like wet dog. I hate that smell. Okay, we're going to do this one right here. Ta-da! See, that one's a little heavier because I had more paint on my sponge. So we're not going to dip. We're not going to dip. I'm just going to pick up the same I'm going to pick up a little bit of paint from where I was tapping all my paint off. I'm not dipping in the actual puddle of paint. I'm just going into that puddle where I was tapping most of it off. Okay, let's do this right here. I'm just going to sponge lightly. Just sponging lightly and just being very careful once we get to these ones that we're kind of fussy painting, just meaning that we're painting specifically an area. We're not necessarily trying to get full coverage all the way across. We're just picking a couple of spots and we're avoiding other spots. We're having to be very fussy about it. I'm going to add one more honeycomb right there. Okay, so there we go. So now we have 3 honeycomb. And they all look about the same, but a little different. This one's a little darker than all the other ones. These 2 right here. I added an extra honeycomb right here just because I had accidentally painted into that one. So I was like, let's just go ahead and let's go ahead and tap that one out there too. Isn't it cute? Y'all know I love these mason jar ornaments. If you can see, well, you can't see my tree. Last year in 2022, we did a series of fruity ones. Let me see if this is, I think we did 3 of them. I think we did 3. We did a series of fruity ones. We did an apple. See how many different ideas that you can come up with just a basic shape. So we're going to now, I think we're going to do some splatter paint. I think that's what I want to do. I want to have different colors of this yellow on here. So we've got we got a base words, Erica. We've got a baseline yellow, which is our sunny day. And then we have our antique gold, which is our darker yellow. And then I'm going to do some splatter paint. I think I'm going to ghost out this sunny day. When I say ghost out, that's just a fancy way of saying I'm adding some white to make a lighter shade. Good morning, Nancy. So we are going to put a little, I'm out of sunny day. So let me go ahead and put a little sunny day on my palette. I'm going to pick 2 brushes, preferably one being a flat. And then the other one, it doesn't really matter which one you pick. What I recommend is if you have Hey, can I call you back later? I'm in the middle of a tutorial. Watch your mouth. Say, okay. I look forward to talking to you, sissy.
Okay. That's about it.
Are you en route somewhere?
Yeah, I just left the house.
Okay, well, if you're en route here, the door's unlocked.
I gotta stop by lunch.
Okay, well, if you're
stop by mom's.
Okay.
And then I'll put it to you.
Well, if you're en route here, the door's unlocked. Just let yourself in.
Do you have to take me out of this tutorial, or they can hear me?
Say hi.
Hi.
All right, I'll let you go.
Okay,
bye. Sorry, y'all. My sister is the type that she will call and call and call until you pick up. So I was like, hey, can you unlock that front door for your Yaya? Okay. So we are going to wet our flat brush. Okay. All right, we're gonna wet it, not keep it soaking wet. It's just wet. I just washed it. All right, I'm gonna pick up a little sunny day and a little white and keep adding white until I'm happy with the shade. Until I'm happy with the shade. I want it a little whiter. I just don't want to splatter paint white on here just because it'll be kind of awkward. So I'm going to, now that I have come up with the shade, let me show y'all what I've come up with. Just take a breath before you see my palette, okay? Just take a breath because it's chaotic. So there's my sunny day. And that's my ghosted out shade that I've been adding white. So all I've been doing is just been pulling white and adding it in until I got a color that I'm happy with that contrasts just enough. It contrasts just enough without being distracting, but also not being barely there. Like it's going to be enough to look kind of cool. So we're going to I'm going to take my little water spritzers. Okay, we use this thing for shading. We use this thing for evening out our paint. I'm going to use this now for watering down my paint. So I'm just going to spritz that little section of paint. I'm going to pick up that extra wet paint. We don't want it to be sopping wet. We just want it to be a little inky. And then I'm going to take my brush that has a rubber handle. It does not have to have a rubber handle. I just recommend it having a rubber handle. And we're going to tap, 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 tap. You want to be a little bit, that's not wet enough. So it's not tapping. So that means we need to add a little bit more water. It's easier to add water than it is to take it away. So you don't necessarily want to add too much too fast. All right. So we're just going to pick up, we don't want to add too much paint to our brush. Oh, okay. We're getting there. We finally got a splatter. Okay. All we're doing is watering down our paint. There we go. The only problem with this technique is that it gets everywhere. Splatter paint gets everywhere. I want to really make sure I get a little bit on that honeycomb because that's where it's really going to contrast. I don't know if you, let me do it on this one because this one's going to be super cute. The harder you hit, the bigger the droplets. The lighter you hit, the smaller the droplets. I just hope I'm not getting this on my sweater. I love this sweater. The reason I like to use a brush with a rubber handle is because the this brush bounces off of it. It's not as hard of a hit, and you tend to get a little bit better water droplet. Okay, that's good. We're going to blow dry that, okay? Because with every step, I want everything to be bone dry. It'll just make my life a lot easier if everything's just bone dry. So do you see those little water droplets, paint droplets? See, it's just enough to give some visual interest, but not enough to be distracting. You have any plans it's Saturday, so do you have any plans? I know I don't normally go live on a Saturday, so I'm not used to being up and moving and dressed and hair done, and I'm on my second cup of coffee. Usually on a Saturday, we either have something where it's for the kids, and I don't necessarily have to be on my A game. You know, the kids go off and do whatever they need to do. Or I've got like a family function and I can just it's always a come as you are kind of thing. I don't necessarily have to be me plus a little extra. You know what I mean? So this is, you know, it's a nice little change for our usual vibe that we have going on a Saturday. I think this needs to be blow dried just a little bit longer. Typically, whenever you use splatter paint or any technique where you have to water paint down, you really want to make sure you dry it long enough for it to be dry, not just dry to the touch, because I'm telling you, some of these thicker droplets of paint, they're probably wet they're probably surface dry, but they're wet underneath. So we're going to blow dry just a little bit longer. Going out to shop and finish up laser roses. What are laser roses? I want to know. On my way to daughter in West Monroe. Ooh. I have a friend that's going to West Monroe, and I think she's there this weekend. It may not be this weekend. Maybe next weekend. It might be next weekend. I can't remember. She's going to West Monroe. She has family in West Monroe. And it's usually the person that if I'm going to hang out with someone on the weekend, it's the person I usually hang out with on the weekend. Which is hardly ever, because I feel like I don't ever get to do anything for just me, because I'm the mom of a teenager who is very active. He has a million things that he does every weekend. He is very kind of chill during the week and very active on the weekends, where his sister is the opposite. She's very active during the week and she is super chill on the weekend. So it is a nice like little setup that we have here at our house. Again, it's always something for them, which I, being a mom, I'm totally cool with that. But it the weekends are never my own. And so, like I said, I don't ever have to really be dressed to the nines if I don't want to be. But today it was a nice change of pace. That was what I was trying to say. It's a nice change of pace to be a little put together for a Saturday morning. I might have to go live a little more often on Saturdays if it's going to force me to at least brush my hair. Okay, so I need wax paper. Where did I put that wax paper? Right here. I'm going to take a little bit of wax paper and I'm going to put it shiny side up, waxy side up. You have more of a parchment paper side and then you have the waxy side. Some wax paper may be waxy on both sides, but I want you to be very, very aware of the waxy side. So I'm going to take, hold on. Give me a second. I don't think I want to do this step quite yet. I think I want to do one more little thing. I'm brainstorming here. I think I want to find a small filbert, if I've got one, that's clean. I'm going to take a small filbert. I think nope, that's an angle. Ah, right there. I knew I had one. I've hardly ever used a filbert, so they never really move out of my paint caddy. All right, so I'm going to wet my brush. I'm going to ghost out my Antique Gold. So far, we've only used 3 paint colors. We've used Sunny Day, Antique Gold, and white. Okay, so I'm going to ghost out this Antique Gold with a little bit of white. I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the Sunny Day. I'm just adding white to it till I'm happy with a nice little shade of it that's lighter than the straight from the bottle shade. So straight from the bottle is the paint that comes just like it is, straight from the bottle. The ghosted out shade is just any shade that you can create from straight from the bottle by adding any amount of white. All right, so I'm going to move these 2 out of the way. All right, I'm going to take my filbert brush and I'm going to create drips of honey. Okay, and I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way down. I want a little bit darker. To be a little bit, so I added a little bit more Antique Gold. So to create my drips of honey, I'm going to make the peaks first, okay? So I'm going to make peaks. So I'm just going to randomly create little drops by putting my filbert brush. This is a filbert, so that's like a round, kind of flat. And then I'm twisting as I pull towards the top. So if you look, it's real round down here because that's the shape of the brush. And as I pull, I'm pulling just ever so slightly. And as I pull, I'm twisting it to where it's on the skinny side, what I call the chisel, okay? That was the door hanger, baby. That wasn't your yaya.
No, I was making sure how old it was.
Oh, okay. And I'm going to just do... Okay, so that looks funny, doesn't it? It looks super, super funny. Hey, Nancy, you're painting a snowman. Painting a snowman. Oh, I want to. What snowman? I want to see. I like snowman. They're so happy and cheery. All right, so now that we have our drips, let's connect the drips. Okay, I want this to look like honey is just dripping from the top. Okay. So now we've got this. I'm going to kind of like give a little wave. And connect the drips. I'm just kind of cleaning up where they connect. Now that I have that glare is really the wet paint. Okay, so the paints that I use, they're called matte acrylic paints. They are glossy until they're dry. That's how you know they're dry. When they go completely matte, no shine to them at all, that's how you know they're completely dry. Or at least on the surface, they're completely dry. But that glare, while they're wet, is really messing with it because this is such a monochromatic look so far. So let's go ahead and fill this in. We're just going to go ahead and fill the whole top in with that color that we've created. I'm just going to kind of round this out on the edge. Okay, so now that we have kind of an idea of how we want this to look and how I'm happy with this, now we know how to go about doing it on the others. Okay. Oh, this is going to be super cute. I think this will end up being a template for Template Tribe next month. So this may be a design that we release next month for a template to Wednesday. But it'll be door hanger size. So I'm just kind of cleaning up the edges. Oh my goodness, I love it. It's so cute. Now we may end up, we're going to let that completely dry. We may end up needing a second coat, okay? How cute is this turning out? Lauren says that's adorable. It's adorbs. Lala says it's adorbs. It's adorbs.
It's adorbs.
Let's see. It's one of Heidi's. I'm putting it on a snow. Oh, that would be super cute. Snowman on a snowflake. It's so cute. But these are my thing. I can't wait to try this one. This one, I'm excited about this one. This one has really been, I'm not going to say challenging because bees come so naturally to me. I actually I haven't used them a lot in designing because I feel like I use them a lot in color theory concepts. And I was like, since I think of yellow and grays and blacks and florals all the time, then I'm like, I don't want to overdo it sometimes. And then I realized I haven't done very many bumblebee designs in the past to begin with, especially that cute little bear. I was like, this will be perfect for Sneak Peek Week. It'll be perfect. Let's see. We're going to make our drips different each time. And I'll choose the one I like the best to make a template out of it. So all I'm doing to make my little drops of honey is let me get a little closer because I need one over here. I am putting my filbert brush flat on the surface of the wood. I'm pushing it down. I'm going to relieve the pressure and then drag it up and twist. Okay? So let me get a little bit. I ran out of white paint. Let me pour a little bit more. Okay. So now I'm going to connect and fill in. Connect and fill in. So all I'm doing is I'm just kind of going along the edge. I think what I want to do is I want to go a little lower. I'm just making sure this drizzle, the line that I do across here that connects them, I want to make sure it's below this little divot, okay? The only reason I'm doing that is because I already know how I've already brainstormed how I'm going to put the finishing touches. And I know we're going to use twine right there. So I don't want the twine to overpower the honey drip. So I'm going to make sure that I'm very aware of how I am laying out the rest of the design. Clean this up. And then these on the very edge, I want them to kind of like just become part of the side, as if the honey is just wrapping around the jar. Oh, it's so cute. That is a little whiter than that one. And I think I like this darker color better. So I may end up going back over that just with a bit darker, but I'm going to let it dry. I don't want to move wet paint. Remember, wet paint moves wet paint. Hey, Debbie. Well, thank you, Debbie. I'm quite fond of it. It is really taking shape. So I'm putting my filbert brush. It's a small filbert brush. I'm pressing my bristles down, relieving the pressure, and then dragging up and twisting. Okay. Push, relieve the pressure, drag, and twist. Push, relieve the pressure, drag, and twist. Push, relieve the pressure, drag, and twist. And I'm making sure the curved part, the U part of my filbert is well below. Remember, I'm trying to avoid it getting hidden under twine later, right here. All right, one on the very end. I'm making sure I am very good and past that little divot right there. Okay, now let's fill this in. Let's go wiggle, 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 and then fill it in. Okay, and then let's clean up our honey drips. Okay, I'm going to clean up my brush strokes and just smooth that paint out. All right, now let's compare this one to this one again to make sure that this didn't dry down as dark, because that's dry. This is not. Remember, whenever your paint is wet, it's lighter. It's going to dry down about a half shade darker than when it's wet. I'm sorry I'm running late. Well, you're not running late. We're still painting. And there, you know, the replay is blah, blah. The replay is always going to be there. You're good. You're good. Anna says, I'm in love. Me too. I'm loving it. It's like, da, 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 da. I'm loving it. All right, so my brush was getting really goopy with paint, so I just went ahead and gave it a good rinse. Oh, that's right here. I was just like, where's my yellows? I'm out of my antique gold. So far, these are the only real colors we've used other than white. I did ghost it out just a hair. Made a lighter shade, but not so light that it's not a honey color. And they do make a honey brown. I just didn't want my honey to be brown. I want it to still be in this yellow family. But that antique gold's just too yellow. I needed it to be just toned down just a bit. Like I said, this one was just a hair too light for my taste. So I'm just filling it. I'm just doing a second coat in that with a little bit more antique gold than white. than that the first time that I did the first coat. All right, so there we go. That's a little closer to that. Okay, I'm gonna blow dry. And let's see if we can move on to the next step. Our next step will be shading, giving it a lot of dimension without having to use paint pen. I'm so like going to love these. I'm guessing these are more bonuses. More bonuses, Vanilla. More bonuses. These are not bone dry yet. When we do shading, we really want every bit of paint that's on our project to be bone white. Whoop. Okay. Let's do an angle brush. Right there. Now we need our wax paper. So I'm going to move this off to the side. I've got my wax paper, waxy side up, and I've got antique gold. I'm just loading my brush. I'm going to dip my brush. This is about a 1/2 inch, I believe. Yep, 1/2 inch angle. I've dipped the toe of my brush in the paint. The toe of the brush is just the long end, not the short end. And I'm just adding this paint to my brush. I'm going to go all the way around the entire jar. I probably will not have to go around the honey because the honey is the same color as this, as a shade color. Okay, there's plenty of water in my brush. I have not had to add any water to my project, but the water in my brush will run out. So I need to be aware of it. I need to watch how the paint is acting on my project. Okay. I don't know if you can tell, but there's just a little bit of a dark yellow going. That's not enough for me. I want it to be nice and saturated. So we're going to let that dry. We're probably going to do a second coat. Okay. Now my brush is probably a little drier. It is. The paint is not spreading as far as I'd like it to, and it's getting kind of a Morse code look to it. Kind of a real dry drag look. So I'm going to bring my spritzer that I get from Hobby Lobby. Add a little bit of water. That was probably a little too much, but this will work. I don't want to oversaturate. I don't want it to be sopping wet. I just want the surface to be wet enough for my paint to glide all the way around the project. I don't necessarily want to dip my brush into dirty water. Because I struggle with keeping my water clean enough for a project. All right, so see it just a little bit. Like I said, that's probably not enough. I'm going to let it dry, though, before I make a final decision. Okay, we're going to add some water. That was probably a little too much. Normally 1 or 2 sprays. I think my sister's here. I heard a car door. She may not be, though. She had a laundry list of errands to run before she got here. But all those places are on the way to my house. I'm probably the furthest out. All right, like I said, this is not as far as I want it to go, and it's not as dark as I want it to be. I'm not changing colors. I know this color is the right color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let all that dry And then I'm going to add a second coat. And that second coat, I'll just bring it in a little bit more. So what it'll do, that second coat will deepen the work I've already done and then widen the, I get not the radius, but how wide that shade is being brought in. It was turning out too cute. Too stinking cute. There's this one spot. And I'm like, no, you will shade. You'll be darker than that. There we go. Okay. That's the look I was going for. That's the look. I don't know if you, just a little bit of rustic. And if it's too dark, all you do is you spritz it with water and you move that paint around. Or if, say, you have some paint strokes in there that you're like, oh, I don't like the look of that, spritz it with water and those go over it with your brush, and those paint strokes magically smooth out. You don't have that choppy look. On these curves, I want them to be a little darker and brought in than on the sides. So down here on the bottom, I want it to be brought, that shading being brought in. Alrighty, there we go. Let's do this one. Second coat on this one. It's kind of dry. Take our spritzer. See? That one right there is perfect. I don't know how to get a good look at it with this light and the sheen of the water, but as soon as it dries, you'll be able to see it a lot better. So I'll set that off to the side, let it dry. So I want you to see the difference between the first attempt. See how it just deepened it just enough versus the second layer, okay? See how it deepens it and it brought it in even more. It really made it a little bit more in your face without it being distracting. I am loving the mason jars, and you keep coming up with more. Can't wait to paint this one. The mason jar is probably my favorite shape to paint generic things on. Like whenever I really want to get super creative, I feel like I've painted enough mason jars that they're second nature to me. That I'm like, you know what? I know the shape well enough. I know what fits in it. It's almost like a challenge to myself because I have painted so many mason jars. I live in the South, so mason jars are classic. They never go out of style. I feel like they're timeless. They are timeless. And I mean, how cute is a mason jar? Now, I would probably make this a ornament for someone for Christmas, or this could, you know, you can display ornaments year round. They do not always have to be Christmas gifts. I put ornaments in my tier tray all the time. I put ornaments on the shelf all the time. They do not have to be Christmas ornaments. Just because the word ornament makes you think Christmas doesn't mean it's intended for Christmas. Now, can this hang on a Christmas tree? Absolutely. Anybody who loves bumblebees, this is a perfect Christmas ornament gift for them. Hey, Jen. She's like, hey, I'm catching you live again. Those are adorable. We're freestyling this one. We're dreaming it up as we sit and chat and craft together. One of my favorite ways to bring a mason jar to life. Now, y'all don't forget, I've got an extra one over here. The only thing is I won't have an extra stencil to send along. You know what? Yes, I will. Since we didn't use this one's going to be gifted with it. So you're going to get a stencil. You're going to get a mason jar. You're going to get a stencil, a mason jar, and whatever else we dream up to put on this. I'll make sure that I have enough set aside for you to have one as well. For anybody who spreads the good word that we are live today, creating something off the cuff and being super creative and collaborating all of our creative brains together to build this really cute freestyled ornament. A honey pot is so dang cute. Well, this is actually my mason jar. This is a mason jar that I designed. I call it my whimsical mason jar. I have a classic mason jar that has straighter edges to it, but I like how bubbly this one is. It screams, I'm cuter than the other one. The other one is classic. This one's cute. This one, I was like, you know what? It kind of looks like a honey pot. So let's make a honey pot out of it. So that makes me feel good that like this up here, that thing, the idea I have going up here, it's translating. Okay. So we have, let's look. I don't think I want to do anything like more painted wise. I want to add twine going around this way, like actual twine. But that's an after we seal kind of thing. I do have different kinds of flowers. And I do want to add those, but that's, again, an after we seal kind of thing. I do have beads. I did pull some beads. I don't know if I have any honey colored beads, but let's see. I saw the yellow in here and I pulled it. You know what I do have? I have orange. I have my crackle yellow. Excuse me. Let me see if these, I don't know if these are going to work because I don't know how big that hole is. I have pearls. Let me look. Let me drum this up a little bit. I do have some green. I don't think the green would be too off-putting. I think we're going to keep the green. I think the green is just a little extra color to insinuate that bees are associated with flowers and honey comes from flowers. And so the green, you know, it's like our brains like when I see the green next to my honeycomb, it doesn't look awkward. So I think we're going to keep it. So I think if the pearls go over my wire, I think my pearls are definitely going to be used. Definitely. And then I'm going to grab all these light green ones. I don't have many. What I have, we can use. I think this is all the beads that I pulled. Oh, come back. Okay. We'll just pull what I've got. Let's see. I want at least 2 orange ones. I know I want at least 2 orange because the orange really bring the honey color in without us having the honey color. I think the mixture of the yellow together with the orange. So I need 8 because I want to make a kit with that. So I have 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that. Perfect. 8. I think our center bead is going to be our yellow crackle, although I've found these yellow crackle ones to actually split because they are crackled. So I'm not having high hopes for that one yet. Let's see. I think I want at least 1 pearl, if not 2. There's 1, 2, 3. I need 1 more pearl. 4. And I think we're good. I think 2, 4, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have just enough green. Perfect. I think those are the beads we're gonna use. Now let's decide what wire we want to use. Do we want to use silver? Do we want to use gold? Do we want to use rose gold? I have each. Okay, so I have gold, which is kind of rosy gold, but that's actual rose gold. And then I have silver. I think I'm gonna put the rose gold away. I think we're just gonna. I don't like it so much with this color scheme. Are we gonna use gold or are we gonna use silver? Which one should we use? Gold or silver? I have some tiny wooden beads that would be so cute. Nancy, I was looking for some beads, some like actual beads. You know, I like to go to the jewelry section and find my little extra pieces. I was looking for some beads, but all the beads were sold out. All right, everybody's saying gold. So far, it's unanimous on gold. I have not had a silver yet. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Gold it is. Gold it is. So this is 18 gauge wire from the jewelry section. I think you can either use Beadalon, like Babylon, but Beadalon. Honestly, any of the jewelry wire in the bead section is fine. So let's see what strings on here. All right, so our pearls are too small. Pearls are too small. Okay, so we got to nix the pearl idea. The pearl was just going to add a little extra daintiness to it. Y'all know I love pearls. I love them. And the fact that they were smaller beads was going to give us like a nice little mixture of bead sizes. All right, so we're nixing the pearl idea because they don't fit. Let's see. I know where's the hole to that one. I'm just before I get my heart set on a bead design. I could Erica Ray, find the hole. Where's the hole on this one? I feel it, but I can't see it. That very awkward look of concentration. I don't think this one has a hole. Hold on. It had to have had a hole. It was on a string. I had to unstring these things. Let's just get a different one. Okay, I see it on this one. I just couldn't see it on the other one. Okay, so that one strings just fine. Let's see about these orange ones. I'm gonna be so sad. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Because these were really the ones I wanted to use. And then let's see the green ones. Okay, so the green, yellow, and orange, I think those are gonna be fine. I think they're gonna be just fine. Okay. So we want to seal this before we move any further with our design, since we're not painting anything else on it. Everything, like I told you, like my ornaments, I like to treat them like they're mixed media projects. A lot of times putting something 3D on a door hanger, you can put wood 3D pieces. You could put paper flowers or solo wood flowers, and those work just fine. But because it's exposed to the elements, you're taking a risk at all of that getting damaged, especially with my door. My entryway catches the gusts of winds so easily, and my door hanger knocks on my door all the time. And I feel like with every knock, that's something other than a bow. You know, bows are soft and you staple them on. Anything that could be glued on is just getting loosened every single time. So I love to save all of my mixed media little ideas for my ornaments or my shelf sitter pieces that are going to stay inside. I think I'm done with painting these. I think this is as far as I'm going to go. So let's seal them. I'm going to grab my gloss sealer, my seal tray, because like I told y'all the other day, I love to just reuse the same tray because this sealer, this brush on sealer just goes on so thin and it self-levels itself. Okay, I am going to just find a flat brush. Informed my slice of the interweb. I love that. I love it. That's her way of saying that she spread the good word. I love it. That's probably my favorite sprinkle or shared announcement to date. I think that's informed my slice of the interwebs. Okay. If y'all know me, y'all know I don't take myself very serious. So everything is a joke. I laugh at everything. Okay. So there we go. Just do a quick seal on it. Oh, all my beads are just doing what beads do. I really want to go to Hobby Lobby today. I just realized how low I was on some of my go-to beads. Those green ones, I go to those all the time. You can order beads online. I don't need them in bulk, so I just buy them whenever I see really cute ones at the craft store. If I was painting for like craft fairs, or I was doing bulk orders and I needed things to be in quantity, then I would be buying them in bulk, probably on Amazon. There's some really cool, reputable bead companies that the painting community likes to use. I just have never ordered from them because I don't need things to be in bulk. But I have friends that I trust their opinion. So if you need that information, I can get you to where you need to go to get that information. What brand is that sealer? That is, Debbie, Liquitex. And I like anything in a gloss. They have gloss and high gloss. I like anything that's going to be like on a wall inside to be a matte. 9 times out of 10, you're going to see me use either the gloss or the high gloss. I use them interchangeably. I really don't see a big difference between the two, but I'm pretty sure Liquitex thinks there's a huge difference between two because they sell both of them separately. And I don't. So I have both. I bought both to kind of like try them side by side. I don't see a huge difference between two. But they both work. So I would buy them interchangeably. If they were out of one, I'd buy the other. And you can get them at any craft store that sells the tubes of paint, not the bottles of paint. So go to the fine art section, not the craft. We get these in the craft art section. This is in the fine art section. You know, that section of the store that sells brushes one at a time and has tubes of paint that you have to roll like toothpaste. That's where you're going to find that. And I love it. It's lasted forever. I bought this last year, like at the beginning of last year, and I'm still working through it. But I'm also working through like 2 different bottles, the gloss and the high gloss. Hey, Roxana, were your ears burning yesterday? I was talking about you. I was talking about my retreat roomies. Hold on, y'all. I'm almost out of coffee there. Okay, so I have my beads. I need to put them in a safe place. Put them inside the ring of jewelry wire. Y'all don't forget, for every time that you spread the good word, I am building a kit. You're going to get this, the wood blank. You're going to get, I've decided I'm just going to gift this one to go along with it because I don't know if that Tim Holtz one was on clearance and that's why I picked it up. So I can't promise that I can get you the Tim Holtz one, but I know I can give you the other one that's the exact same size. It's just not distressed. And then you're going to get wire. You're going to get a set of the beads to make this exact same project. Okay. If I use twine, you'll get twine to go along. You're going to get an exact kit to be able to make your very own at home by watching the tutorial again. Let's see. Use a Velcro command strip on the back bottom of your door hanger. Oh, that's really smart. I used to use the furniture pads, and that worked for a while, but it's really hard for my entryway because the gusts of wind just come from all directions. Predicting where the door hanger is going to hit whenever it does knock. It's not always going to pick up and just hit flat. It always kind of twists a little bit, and it kind of, so that's actually a really good idea. I like that. Okay, I think I've answered everything. Now we've got the gold picked out. I am going to bust out my handy dandy hand drill. Okay, I get that. I've got this at Harbor Freight. They do sell one at Hobby Lobby. That's identical, just a different brand. It looks just like this. And then, but at Hobby Lobby, I believe you have to buy the bits separate. And I believe at Harbor Freight, it came with a set of bits. But I also bought an extra set of bits because these are really thin. So I was like, it's going to break eventually. And it has yet to break. So I'm going to take, this is where it gets messy. Okay. This is where the sawdust comes in. So y'all just hang with me here, okay? So I have a scrap piece of wood here. Miss Raylan has lovingly, um, she has lovingly decorated it for me without being asked to. I'm going to put my hand drill right about here. I want it to be above. I want the hole to be well above this divot. So I'm going about halfway between the free edge here and the divot here off to the side. Okay. Then I'm going to go slow, increase my speed. And the reason I use the scrap piece of wood is so that I don't get splinters or blowouts on the back of my ornament. I want my ornament to be nice and clean and splinter free. If I didn't use the piece of wood, as the drill exits the wood, okay, so as the drill exits the wood, it's going to push the back layer of wood here. It's going to push it out. Well, if you have a spare piece of wood underneath it, it keeps that wood from splintering. And it just keeps it nice and smooth. I've only had it happen a couple of times where it's still splintered, but usually it does not. So I start on a low setting. I get myself a nice little divot created, and then I start increasing the speed. Almost blew it out like a candle, and that would have sent all the sawdust going this way. So see, keeps it nice and clean. Okay, so let's do the other two. Now, obviously, I will not be sending a drill, but you can use a drill, or you can just uh-oh. Hold on. Stand by. I think it went all the way through. It did. Okay. Woo! Took me a second. Sometimes it'll hit a hard piece of wood in here, and it's like a safety shut off. It'll shut off before it burns up the motor. So I know this thing is fully charged because I just charged it not too long ago because it died on me. It died on me on camera, and I was struggling to get just enough juice out of it to finish the one hole I needed to drill. So I was like, I know you're charged. You better work. Oh, that didn't go quite through. It hit a hard piece of wood, and the motor said, not today, ma'am. Oh, I see why. I'm shutting it off. I think I'm turning it up. I'm shutting it off. I just realized I was turning it the wrong way. Okay. So without making a mess, I'm going to tap all of my sawdust onto my little paper here and put my drill away because we're done. And I'm going to try and keep the messy part without it getting everywhere so I can throw it away. All right. There's going to be a little sawdust. It's just like glitter. It's just like glitter. It's going to be everywhere once you use it. But luckily, it doesn't create a lot of sawdust per piece. We did 3 pieces, so obviously it's gonna add up. Let's see. Okay, so our next step before we add our twine, we want to make sure that it is a finished product. Okay, like everything that we need to do to it before we start adding on the 3D pieces or the mixed media pieces, we want to do now. Okay, so one step that I like to do when I'm completely finished with the project, but I'm going to do it at this point on an ornament, is I like to clean up my edges. Okay, there's just something about this extra paint on the edge. It drives me absolutely bonkers, and my eye can't unsee it. Like when I'm looking at something super duper cute, all my eye sees is that. And so I'm going to take that away by using a furniture pin that I get from the Dollar Tree. And you can get them anywhere. Walmart sells them. Hobby Lobby sells them. They're just the cheapest at Dollar Tree. Okay. They come in a pack of 3. It's 3 different colors, but I just buy the pack that has the black one in it because there's 2 different color schemes. There's one that has like the light colors, And then there's one that has the dark colors, and they each have 3, but be careful. You want the one that contains the black marker. I buy that one, and I throw the other 2 markers away. Sounds wasteful, but let's be real, I'm never going to use them. And $1.25 for one marker that's going to last me many, many, many projects and serves a very important purpose for me, it's worth it. So I'm just going to take this marker that has seen better days. Look at that. It has. This is why you don't want to use a paint pen for this, because these have the same tip as a paint pen, but you don't want to use an expensive $3, $4, $5 paint pen to be running across 1/4 inch wood. All it's going to do is break down the tip of your paint pen. It's another reason why I like using these. They're $1.25, and it's like I'm purchasing it knowing I'm going to ruin it. But it does such a, look at this. So it goes from this to this. There's one little spot where, there we go. Look at that. And look, there is a noticeable difference. I know you probably can't tell on camera, but when it's hanging, especially if you're going to hang it on a tree, things on trees don't hang flat, right? So you're eventually going to see that. It drives me crazy. Okay. Let's do the third one. Oh, we've only been painting about an hour. And since we freestyled this and talked, I probably could have painted this by myself, talking to my friend, in probably about 45 minutes, start to finish. We're probably going to paint all 3 in an hour, hour and a half, with conversation and a lot of explanation. So really, let's just bump it down to an hour. Like if you were to do this on your own at home, you could probably paint 3 in about the time of an hour to this point right here, okay? And all we're doing at this point, like I said, it's just a mixed media project. We're going to add some flowers. We're going to add some twine. We're going to add some really cuteness to it. We're going to add some beads and a hanger. It's going to be super duper cute. Total adorbs. So now we got to decide what flowers we're going to put on this. I have these that are Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby, okay? I have those. They're just white roses, okay? And I have enough to put one and have a backup for the kit. So I have those, or I have this little, we would probably use these up here. I use these up there. So we have the Prima and we have the white roses. So we can either use one of these. They're a little flatter, but they do have a little bit of a gold center to them. Or we can use these little white, pure white roses. So pretty. Which one do you think? Should we use the, let's go with blue or white. We're not necessarily going to use the blue one, but let's just say, just to make it different. Blue or white? Blue or white? Which one should we use? Is it better to wait until after you paint to drill? Yes, it is always better, especially this little of a hole, okay? So on the garland, let me pull the garland from earlier. On the garland, that hole is about 1/4 inch wide, okay? Maybe a little smaller, maybe 0.2. That right there is probably 0.18 or smaller. So paint, if you get paint in that, it's going to clog it up. This right here is wide enough that if you get paint in it, all you have to do is take a pencil and clean it out. That's so tiny that you're never going to get a pencil in there. So I had a feeling y'all were going to like the Prima flowers. I love the Prima flowers. I will say, Prima's a little extra fancy in the fact that Hobby Lobby never puts them on sale. So y'all are high dollar friends, okay? I just want y'all to know that. But Paper Studio has really nice ones too. Let me show you this. So these poinsettias, they're Paper Studio. Look how cute those are. Like they have really, really nice ones. It's just that when it came to this project, I didn't have very many options. That's another thing I probably will go to Hobby Lobby for today to stock up on. I want to go look at their, now that spring is here, I want to go look at their paper flower selection because I have a lot of spring projects I'm going to want to do with y'all. And the paper flowers are going to be super duper cute. Okay, so I only have 3 blue ones. I only have 3 blue ones. I do have this like really peachy color and this white color. Which one should we do? The peach or the white? I'm going to use the blue for sure. Oh, I don't know if I like the blue. I don't know. Hold on. I have enough. I'm taking the choice away. We're going to do white. We're going to do white. We're going to do white because I just realized I have 2 white ones here. Okay, I have 2 white ones here. And I have 2 white ones here. They're just the size up. They're the size up. And so for the kit that we're making, I'm going to go for the one with the size up. Okay. They're going to get the nice full one, right? Okay, so this one's going to go to the kit. There we go. Okay. Decision made. I'm going to do a leaf for each one too. I'm going to do a leaf. Just so there's a pop of that green. Look at that. It all worked out. So I'm going to take while I'm working, I'm going to go ahead and clean up my mess. I'm done painting, so I'm going to put my little paint trays back here so I don't accidentally put my paper flowers, my high dollar ones, my paper flowers in wet paint. So I'm just going to throw these paper flowers in my little caddy. So this is my little caddy. I'm just storing them. Let's see, these go back over here. So that at a glance, I can see what I have all at once. I just realized this was in a stash that I hadn't put away yet. I was like, oh, I have those. I bet you those would be really cute on this mason jar. Okay, there we go. There's one more bag. These are the big ones. The big ones. So I'm going to put them in their own little hole. So I don't want to smush them. Okay, there we go. Now I can get rid of my trash. It's always a nice feeling. All right, so here's our beads. Here's our beads. Our I almost said twine. It's not twine. It's our beads. Our wire. Oh my goodness, that word. I'm sitting here staring at the screen going, what are you? What is it? Wire. It's our beads, our wire, and we're going to take our wire cutters. I have all different kinds of wire cutters. I have these. I have these. I have these. It doesn't matter which ones you have. They all cut. So all of your tools that are needle nose, whether they're flat needle nose or they're round needle nose, which are the ones that we're going to use today, they all have secret wire cutters in them. So don't feel like you need a dedicated wire cutter to do this project. The wire, any tool, any needle nose tool, especially in jewelry sections, have wire cutters. So we are going to cut. I'm going to kind of eyeball this. I'm going to give you a precise. Let me get my ruler. I have my ruler magnetized to the side of my paint cart. Let's see. This is about 9 inches worth of wire. Okay. So while I'm at it, like I said, we're going to batch create everything. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces of wire. Instead of sitting here trying to guess at what is 9 inches or breaking out a ruler 4 times, I'm going to cut 9 inches 4 times. So this is going to be 3. Come on. Okay. Now, do they have to be exactly 9 inches? No, they can be, about 1/8 of an inch off and it not be that big of a deal. No biggie, right? Okay. All right. So there's our 4 pieces. 1 for each one of my 3 that I'm doing here. And then 1 for the kit that we're going to gift away. All right. And like I said, I am cleaning up my workspace as we go. All right. So I want to take my wire and I just want to give it a nice little curve. Okay. Not like really loop it, but I want to give it just a nice little curve, just kind of warm it up a little bit. This is a skippable step. If you're not comfortable doing that quite yet, don't worry. We're going to put one side of our wire through the back, okay? And I'm going to take my round nose. Now, these are round nose. So there's this right here is not flat, not to be confused with flat needle nose. Let me show you flat needle nose. So you see how this is flat right here? That's flat. We don't want to use those. We want to go to the jewelry section and get round. These look like cones. All right. So I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to turn. Okay. And I'm going to make a little eyelet. You can make a corkscrew. You make whatever shape you want. My go-to shape is just a little eyelet so that my wire does not fall off of my whatchamacallit, my ornament. And I just press it flat to the ornament. All right, now I want to do, I think I want to do green first. I'm going to do green, orange, yellow. If I can find the hole. The yellows are the hardest to find the hole. I will make sure before I send off the kit that your yellow does have a hole. I'm telling you, it is hard. There it is. Nope, it lied. You like that look of concentration? Hold on. Almost bit me. It jumped. Telling you, I know it has it because these came on a string and I had to take it off the string to put it into my caddy. There it is. Watch these not be small enough. I mean, watch these not be big enough. That's the whole, I'm so sad. Hold on. I have another yellow in here. It's just not the one I wanted to use. I have like a lemonade yellow that I've been saving. Come on. I bet you. Nope. Nope. Let's see what this looks like. It's yellow. It's just not, it's not this yellow. It was going to be so cute. Okay, so we're going to put these up. Yeah, I have that one. I have that one. They just look like lemonade. I love them, but I have been saving these for a different project. So I'm going to put this. Okay, and then I'm going to do another orange. I have a lighter orange and a darker orange. I'm going to mix and match them. And then another green. So there's our beads. They're still super cute. They're still super cute. And I'm probably going to trim this down a little bit. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my twine, feed it through. I like my beads to be on one side. I'm funny about that. They don't have to be centered. I like them to be off to one side, but I want it to be on the side where there's not going to be like a bow or a flower. So we're probably going to put our flower over here. Let's see. I trimmed off about 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to just do the same thing that I did earlier and give it one full turn. And then I'm going to press it against the side of the wood to create a loop so that it doesn't escape. And so there's our ornament with our beads. You can separate the beads if you want. You can put some over here and some over here. I like to keep all my beads on one side. I'm real funny about that. Okay, so there's the ornament. Let's do the other ones. Put my little twine, my little I keep wanting to call it twine. It's not twine. Okay, so I'm going to do all the little first loops for the next two. I'm going to batch create these, okay? So I'm going to do loop, drop it down. I like the peach ones too, Anna. They got real washed out on top of this honey color. But I have an idea for them for another ornament that we'll do later on. Maybe at another sneak peek week, or maybe just for funsies. Okay. Go. Like I said, we're just going to put in a little pattern on here. Okay, so just alternating the green, the orange, then the yellow, and then the orange and the green, just mirroring them. And I cut about 1/4 of an inch off, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off too, just to make them. I pinch it. I just pinch the wire against the wood. Bring all of my beads off to the side. Okay, there's ornament number 2. They're turning out super duper cute. So cute. All right, so I've got the one where I've already made the little eyelet. Drop it through the hole. Pinch it so it doesn't come through. Thread our beads on here. We did green, orange, our lemonade yellow, orange, and then green. Now the thing about that yellow, it is lighter than all the yellows that we use. That's okay, because that orange gives our eyes, seeing the orange and the yellow together, helps us kind of think about honey. That was my thought process when I picked yellow, because I knew I did not have a honey color yellow in my stash, because this color right here is not a color I use all the time. So I have not picked up. Okay. And just smash it. All I do is I just smash it to the wood, and then I bring the other wire and I just make it create a little bit of it, almost like a shelf. So there's the loop, there's a wire going through it, and then the wire comes right back up. So it creates a little bit of a shelf for the ornament. Okay. So we're still not done yet. Okay. So these are the beads. Wait, hold on. Where's my other yellow? I have another yellow. Come back, little bead. Here's our beads for our kit that we're making. So far, we have a blank, the flower, the beads, the wire, and the stencil. Okay? I'm going to set these over here just out of the way so the beads don't fall. They're just going to scoot all over the place if I don't watch them. Okay. So now we have our flowers and our twine that we need to add. So I'm going to grab, I have 2 different kinds of twine that I use. I have twine that is for door hangers specifically. And then I have twine that I like to use that's a little thinner for ornaments. But I am out of the ornament twine. But that's not a problem, because all I have to do is just take my door hanger twine that is about 3 times as thick as the ornament twine, and I just tear it apart. Okay? I just tear it apart. It looks like it's 4 times as thick. What size are these ornaments? They're about 4 inches tall. About 4 inches tall. So there's 1. There's 2. How perfect did this turn out? There's 3. And then there's 4. So I'm going to set this off to the side for our kit. I'm going to take this twine. Let me move you a little bit more center so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to pick up my ornament. And I'm going to, nope. I'm going to put my twine on top of my ornament and wrap it around. And wrap this side on the other side. And then I'm going to tie a little bow in the center. Okay. Just like our shoelaces. Okay, so there's our little bow. Look how cute. Look how cute. Find the tail. I need to make that a loop a little smaller. There we go. There's our little bow. And then we're going to take our flower and off to the side right here, we're going to fabric glue and super glue. Okay, so I like to use Fabri-Tac by Beacon. Okay, you get this at Hobby Lobby too. I find it there's usually a glue aisle that has like all the Mod Podge, the Elmer's glue, all the super glue. I like to use Fabri-Tac by Beacon, and you want Fabri-Tac. Okay, they have about 3 different types of glue that come in the same bottle by the same company. You want Fabri-Tac. Okay, and then I've got Gorilla super glue. If you notice, this is not the gel. Gel doesn't last as long. This right here is a little bit more liquidy consistency, more liquidy than the gel. And so it goes on thinner because you don't need a lot. The gel goes on so thick that you end up using more product than you really need for the project. So I have Fabri-Tac, which is going to hold, and we'll be able to use more glue, but it takes longer to dry. Okay, I really like using these on my ornaments and anything that requires paper specifically or fabric, because it doesn't yellow, it doesn't get real gloopy and see-through and seeps through the project. But I like to back it up with a little bit of super glue because super glue dries faster. So you get the hold with this, and this kind of fast sets it, quick sets it. So that it stays in place. If you were to just leave a glob of this and put your flower in, your flower will eventually shift because the flower will kind of move as this glue settles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position this flower exactly how I want it. I want it off to the side. Or do I want it in the center? I want it off to the side. And then I want the leaf just to kind of be a filler. So maybe like that. Is that good? What do y'all think? Thank you, Sue. I use a pencil to wrap. Oh, look at you. A pencil to wrap. That's a good trick. I haven't even thought about doing that. That would make it easier. All right, so I'm going to just put my Fabri-Tac right there, a nice little glob of it. It's one of those oddly satisfying smells, kind of like chlorine or gasoline or bleach. So it's one of those. I should not like this smell, but somehow I do. I'm going to put a little bit of my super glue on my flower itself, and then I'm just going to push it down. Okay, I'm just going to push it down and wait for it to hold. It's super cute, isn't it? And to think, this was off the cuff. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of this Fabri-Tac. Just a little bit. See, it's just a little drop. And next to that little drop, I'm going to put a little bit of super glue. And I'm just going to kind of shove that in there. And I'm going to use the tip of my pliers to hold it down so that I don't get a fingerprint in it or I don't get my finger stuck to it. And then I'm just going to, again, reinforce this flower. I will say I like Prima flowers a little bit better than the Paper Studio flowers. I love the Paper Studio flowers. They have a lot of variety when it comes to those Paper Studio flowers. But I will say the Prima flowers have a flatter back and they are easier to push down. All right, so there's one that is done. Look how stinking cute. All right, let's do the other one. This is using that smaller flower. So even though that's a small flower, it's holding on pretty good. And I feel like that's a big enough flower. Now, the kit is going to be using this bigger flower. So we'll be able to see the difference between the different sizes. All right, so I'm just wrapping this around. that wasn't quite in the middle. I want to fold this in half and put that middle in the middle of the mason jar so that we have kind of similar tails. And instead of doing a bow, I think I'm just going to tie a knot on this one. We're going to see the difference of having a little bit of a longer tail versus a bow. Ooh, I think that's super cute. Okay. I think I like the bow better, but I think I like this too. Where's my other flower? Okay. So again, using the Fabri-Tac, putting it right here in this corner, and then putting a little bit of the super glue on my flower. Okay, not a lot. And then I'm just gonna push it down. I'm gonna spread my little petals out. Like I said, that super glue is gonna set like that. That Fabri-Tac is still gonna need to cure. It's gonna take longer to cure and air dry. So that super glue is doing the job of holding it in place while the Fabri-Tac really takes hold. Okay, we're gonna take a little leaf, do the same thing. Let's see. Do it on the back. A little drop of Fabri-Tac. Little drop of super glue. Remember, we don't need much. We just need it to kind of get in there and fast set so that nothing shifts while things are curing. And I'm just going to get my little needle nose pliers in there and just kind of hold it down while that super glue dries. Have you used those Solo Wood? I have not used them, but I have looked at them. My cousins used them. She used them for her wedding, actually. So I've played with Solo Wood, but I have not crafted with Solo Wood. I helped my cousin decorate the actual reception room, and she had said, "Oh, I bought these. Let's use them throughout the room." And I was like, I have yet to hold a Solo Wood flower. I hear about them all the time, but I have yet to, actually mess with them. So I did get a chance to kind of get a feel for them at the wedding, but I had not crafted with one yet. So there's look how stinking cute. So we've got the bow, and then we just have it tied in a knot right here. So that's two totally different looks. Okay. We're going to find the center, and that center is going to be what we place on the mason jar. We're going to center it on the mason jar so that we have similar tails. A little bit of twine. And I think I'm going to, for this one, I think I'm going to do just tails. I don't think I'm going to do a bow. Now, if you have, look at this one. This one's standing at attention. It does not want to lay down flat. You get a situation like that, put a little bit of that Fabri-Tac. Doesn't even have to be much. Just a little drop, and tack it down. It'll be sticky enough that even though it hasn't cured, it'll hold that little flyaway down. Here's the bigger flower. This is the one that I've been waiting for. Oh, who's playing soccer today, Lori? Which one of the babies? Is it the twins? Okay, so I'm going to put a nice little glob of Fabri-Tac. And then we're going to reinforce with the super glue. I should have laid the super glue on its side so all the glue didn't venture back down to the bottom of the container. Which that's what I'm going to do because I still have to do my leaf. We're just going to put that off to the side. I'm so glad we picked the white ones. I'm so glad we decided to go with the white ones because I feel like the white is just enough contrast without being distracting. I think those blue ones are beautiful, but they were so dark. If they were a lighter blue, I think they would have been just fine. But because they were such a dark blue, I think it would have been way too much contrast. Way too much. All right, just a little drop of Fabri-Tac. And then just a little drop of super glue. We're just going to stuff that in there. We're going to take our needle nose pliers and press it down until the super glue dries. Mason had a game at 9 to 10. Madison has 2 games. One at 12 to 1 and one at 1:30. Well, dang, you're just going to better find a bleacher and park it. You've got an all-day event at the soccer field. But, hey, Sandy. I used to coach Hayden's soccer team, and that was such a fun time with him and I. We anything he's ever done, I've always been like either the mom or the coach, and I've loved doing that throughout his childhood. I don't think Raylan's gonna have that same mom. That's the one thing about having them so far apart in age. The mom Hayden got and the mom that Raylan gets, they're 2 totally different people. And people who have children so spread apart like I do, I think y'all understand. I think y'all get me. I think you can relate, because the mom that Hayden got was young and energetic and like knew no limits. And the mom that Raylan has is 10 years older and is a lot more tired. She still gets just as much advocating. I advocated for Hayden on almost everything. She gets just as much advocating. She gets just as much of attention and love and support. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna be that mom that's sitting in the bleachers instead of being on the soccer field when it comes to her. I've done my time. That's in my brain. So I've done my time. It's time. I'm gonna let another mom step in and have some fun. So let's see. There are 2 totally different soccer fields. How are you even supposed to manage that when his ends? That's just crazy. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Are you planning to do a painting retreat this year? I do plan to do a painting retreat this year. I'm going to one in April, and I feel like I'm going to do one in the fall this year. I think I'm going to do it either in September or October, maybe October. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Haven't decided what time, but I do plan to do one this fall. So those are our projects for today. Like I said, we'll probably make this a template tribe design. Now that we have a super cute concept, I can translate this to a door hanger template, and I think this is going to appear in February. So people who are in tribe, be on the lookout next month. I think this is going to be a super cute design. It's going to have the honeycomb already thrown in there for you. It's going to have the drips perfectly. So all you have to do is paint by number. I'll do a really cute flower. I'll put a really cute flower on it. Okay. If y'all have any questions about the project that we did today, or if you enjoyed the project and want more information on how you can get more projects like this, just put it down in the comments. Put any questions down in the comments, and I'll come back later after the live is over, and I will answer them for you directly through the comment. It teaches us something in the summer. Oh, us teachers. I was like, hold on, that didn't make no sense, Nancy. I had to read it twice. I have horrible reading comprehension if you haven't figured that one out yet. Us teachers need something in the summer. Okay. Well, maybe we can do y'all want to do a meet and greet this summer? It won't be an actual like 3-day retreat or 2-day retreat, but maybe we can do a whole day of crafting. Maybe we could do like a whole day of just like a 1 day. It'll be a full day. Lunch and dinner will probably be provided. We could do that. Would y'all be? I know, Karen, you didn't even have to answer. I knew you'd be up for it. Even if the hubby was home, you'd drag him along and make him stay in the hotel room. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Why don't we plan on that? Let's plan on a meet and greet. We'll have to come up with something. We'll have to come up with a really cute name for it. Let's plan this summer to do a meet and greet. Okay? let's just go ahead. Let's just speak that into existence. I'll go over, like, I'm done. Let me go over and sit on my couch and brainstorm it. How about that? I always go to Mississippi in July near the 4th. Well, you know, Nancy, I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump from Mississippi. So I enjoyed watching. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Sandy. You can come hang out with us anytime. Okay, well, I will go over, grab me some lunch and sit at my couch and brainstorm what we want to do this summer. Let's do a meet and greet this summer. We need to come up with a theme. So if y'all have got any ideas for a theme, because you know I've got to have a theme and then I bounce off of that theme. So if y'all have any ideas for a theme, put them down in the comments. I'll come back later and I'll sift through them and see if one sparks some inspiration. Oh, you go through Louisiana. Well, when do you come back? Because I'm not doing anything July 4th weekend. Let's just say it that way. That's one of the most dangerous weekends to be on the road. It is statistically proven 4th of July weekend is one of the most dangerous weekends to be driving. So what day are you traveling back through Louisiana, coming back from your Mississippi trip? Give me an idea. Just give me an idea. That'll give me some playtime. Give me like an idea of a day. But until next time, y'all let me know if y'all have any ideas for a theme for our little meet and greet paint day. And if you have any questions regarding Paint Studio, any project that we've done this week, or where you can get information on blanks or designs, or any questions that you have that are painting related. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.